These card readings are for your entertainment and are laced with my personal opinions and perspectives. I'm not qualified to offer medical or legal advice. Seek professionals for legal, mental, or physical health needs, and know that while cards can give you major insights, ultimately, your moves are yours to make. Hello and welcome to the Get Read podcast, the show where you ask a question of the cards and you get read. I'm Andy, I'm your reader, and we are here at the Sagittarius full moon at the beginning of June, right before summer hits here in the Northern Hemisphere. We have a lot of questions for the cards, so we're going to get right to it. First question.
Hey Andy, Gemini Sun, Virgo Moon, Leo Rising here, and this Sagittarius full moon, I'm wondering if I should stay or if I should go. I am at this time very enmeshed in a decision-making process of whether to physically move or not, and the options on each side are pretty equally weighted of positives and negatives. So having a tough time making this decision, and any insight from the cards would be great. Thank you.
Okay, interesting. So far we have the postcards from the Liminal space giving us this way home card, which is kind of perfect for your inquiry. We're looking at a map with like a classic treasure map, X, dotted line, showing a circuitous route. And it says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So it looks like you're being encouraged to make this choice from a real place of your heart. You know, with the Gemini influence that you have, it might be tempting to just sort of like make this a totally mental, analytical decision, but there's something to be said for the guidance of the heart, especially when like navigating by instinct. Okay, so let's just hold that there, see if there's another card with another little bit of guidance for this question. Should I stay or should I go? Okay. And then we have this Death is the Healing card with showing you in the tunnel with the light at the end of the tunnel. So there's some sort of sense of leaving something behind, maybe in order to find the way home. Something tells me that that might be helpful for you. Let me get a Goblins and Gardens deck card. Okay. The Three of Swords. This is such a great deck, y'all. Jonathan Sacha. I just can't recommend it enough, and I'm always using it for myself. It's amazing. Okay, Three of Swords. Some key words here from Jonathan's guidebook. Cry, bandages, grieve, persist. In the shade of the towering Hawaiian tree ferns, the lemurs find a place to heal. The frond fibers create a poultice for old wounds. The 9 hells are hard on the body and mind. Shifting skin begins to coalesce. Pain subsides. The mind persists. There is perspective gained from their healing. You will be scarred, but your lacerations mirror the damage done to the world around you. Grieve with the planet so that you may heal with it too. Let your tears flow, but don't let them obscure your vision. This feels like it's speaking more towards death as the healing. So whatever this is at this time, you're weighing up this decision of should I stay or should I go? And if there's some sort of like fear of death, you know, and death meaning change, transformation, maybe even like leaving something behind or saying goodbye or ending a chapter in a really big way. Consider that sometimes leaving is healing, or sometimes ending is the healing. And that's what this seems to say to me, these cards. Don't be afraid of pain if pain leads to a healing way, or in this case, the way home. Sometimes the way home is like through the thorny thicket, but on the other side, you know, that light at the end of the tunnel. I guess the question then is like, what's the most healing option for you? Which might be a difficult question to answer. Again, like a sort of really intense emotional one, but maybe this is why this is a question or a decision of the heart. And I'm feeling very clearly like this is about your healing, not about anybody else's. Like what's the most healing choice for you, not what would be healing for someone else. Okay? Short and sweet, baby. Hope that helps. Next.
Hey, Andy. My sun and moon are Gemini. My rising is Sagittarius. I have a query about, so I'm moving back to my hometown area and feeling hopeful, but also daunted a bit around building community with like-minded people, especially those that value disability justice and my safety, and there's just a lot wrapped up with speaking up with pre-existing relationships and setting boundaries and wanting to still have fun, and yeah, it's complicated, and so I'm just curious what the cards might say about this next chapter.
Okay, great. Thanks for your question. Always love to hear from y'all Sagittarians on a Sagittarius full moon. Okay, let's see what's up. 2 moving questions in a row. I'm liking that. Okay, moving home, finding like-minded community. Boundaries versus fun. Interesting. Check to self. Self, which really speaks to me of self-value. You know, like really valuing yourself enough to say, like, these are my needs and these are my boundaries and this is the fun I'm interested in having within those boundaries. Okay, that's cool. Maybe another word for this person moving back home, seeking like-minded community. People, when you're willing to invest in yourself, you can find people who are willing to invest in the same things, or in, I guess, like whatever values you are investing in yourself. Find people, the question is finding people who are as vested in those values. Check to self, and I just heard like putting your money where your mouth is, like not just people who are like, yes, disability justice, definitely, definitely, you know, but people who are actively just like practicing those things in their lives. For some reason, I just got the image of like people actually donating, because we have this like check being written, check to self, people actually giving their money, not just being like, yes, I stand for disability justice, but actually like donating. And I think that image is just a metaphor for people who are actually like just naturally involved. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of group, because there's like, I saw a check being written to a group. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of like activist organization you can get involved in, or even just like community mutual aid, like, you know, people who are gravitating towards those groups you're more likely to find your crowd, or people who are a crowd who will respect your boundaries and like be able to have fun within limitations of safety for people who have disability, you know? And then the other card you got here is you're playing yourself, which is like this, again, this joystick. We're seeing a video game setup, you know? So it's sort of cheeky. You're playing yourself. You direct your avatar. And so I guess there's a lot of autonomy in these cards. Check to self. You're playing yourself. Like, this is an investment in you. This is about your values, and you get to direct yourself wherever your values actually belong. Okay, let's get you one little Goblins and Gardens message. See if we can round this out a little bit. Yeah, exactly. You're in the driver's seat. We have the Chariot. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. We have this absolute monster riding a mowing tractor around a bunch of fields and like tearing ass through the field, you know, like going super fast. So it talks to me about being really, really bold with your movements, you know, like, okay, I'm moving home and these are my values, you know, like coming in hot, you know, these are my values. This is what I stand for. This is what I need. These are my boundaries. Like, bring it all up front and remember that you are at the wheel or the joystick or whatever, you know, like you are directing this. You are directing your movements. Nobody else gets to determine that for you. And if you encounter, as you inevitably will, people who can't really like hang with that, or people who put up a fight when you put some boundaries in, like, okay, left turn, you know, or like swerve, you know, like then that person is like slowing you down in the fast lane is an image that I got, like that, or that person is like moving too fast and leaving you in the dust or something like that. There's something about like finding people who move at your pace. And if you encounter resistance to your boundaries and your needs, and especially when it impacts your health and safety, you know, like pass. Pass. Okay, let's read you the Chariot from the Goblins and Gardens guidebook. Ride, history, command, and arc are the keywords. Your determination spins the universe to motion, and the success of everything around you seems to hang on the cog of your mind's will alone. But control always has a cost. Throw down your tools of conquest. Cast them into the sinkholes of history's past. Every story has wheels within wheels. Today, you can hear the satisfying crunch of heroes' bones under the lawnmower blades. Where will you ride tomorrow? Nice. I mean, I love the Chariot as like an image of you moving, you know? But there is this delicate balance that it's bringing to the forefront of like, okay, your determination does determine how everything moves around you and how you move within that. And there's like a fine line between determination and conquest. And so I guess like there's a question of power coming in a little bit here. And I'm being reminded, you said you're a Gemini sun and moon. The Gemini shift reading that I did for spring is called Power. And it talks, and like the main card in that from the Energy Archaeology Oracle is like these lions like stepping up with pride and also there's like a middle finger in the foreground. So there's this question of, again, like asserting yourself and asserting your boundaries, and when do you do that and how do you take your power? And it feels to me with these three cards, you're playing yourself, check to self, and the Chariot with this like monster riding that lawnmower wherever it needs to go. It's kind of like nothing is really standing in your way. And I don't know, I just get the overwhelming sense of don't be afraid to use your power, because I just have the sense that you're not abusing it. by using it. You know, like just because other people have wielded power against you in particular ways doesn't mean that you taking power is automatically wielding it against others. Sometimes you taking power is the best way to value yourself and the best investment you can really make. You invest in yourself in that way and you'll find community worth investing in. Hope that helps. Next.
Hi, I'm a Sag rising and I am starting to jumpstart my career search again, and any advice for my own personal fear, any advice of stepping up to new opportunities and being open to really cultivating and calling in what I really want. And because I've had one round of application a few months back and then I took a rest for a bit, and so this is kind of like my second try after I have obtained my master's. And so thank you so much for offering this, and I'm excited what the cards are telling and you are channeling. Thank you.
Okay, so as you're talking about this and you're saying like this is my second try of applying for things after your master's, we get this reset card coming out at that exact moment, which is showing like a hand with its pointer finger up and a little smiley face sticker on the pad of the pointer finger. Says reset. So yeah, it's like, okay, let's reset, try again. Maybe the timing is better. Maybe there's something available now that wasn't available on your first round of applications. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see if there's something else. Okay, we see these big like what do you call them? Like megaphones or something, these big horns on a tower above a town, and it says, "This is not a dream." They're like blaring. This is not a dream. So there's something here about like what you know, you mentioned wanting to call in exactly what's right for you, and I don't know, there's something about it that just feels like you get to do that. Like you get to call in this idea of what you think is a dream, and maybe it's not. Like maybe it's more of a reality than you have been conceiving. Let's and like a fresh perspective is just the thing you need. Let's see what the Goblins and Gardens deck has to say about this second round of applications or finding a career. Yeah, it just feels like don't be afraid to intuit the right direction for you. We have the Eight of Wands, which typically talks about like fast moving energy, momentum, like pushing you in a specific direction. Let's read it. And it's a lightning bug flying over like a bunch of wildflowers on the card. It's the keywords are maneuver, haste, illuminate, and cosmic. The poem reads, "Giant fire friends are benevolent bugs. When the bloodroot, desert marigold, pitcher plant, and yellow daisy tidy tips are in bloom, the fire friends reach new heights." Okay, so that's already speaking to me of timing. It's like when these particular flowers, it's like, I forget what it's called, but when these particular flowers are in bloom, then it's time to plant, you know? And it's like that science of using nature as timing signals. It's a really great agricultural practice, although becoming ever more confusing with climate change. But for you, it feels like, okay, now, you know, the desert marigold, the daisies, like these things are in bloom here in summertime, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. So that's the time when the fire friends, the fireflies, reach new heights. That's like, now's the time for liftoff. You get this reset because the timing is right. They are quick to act after sunset with radiant abdomens that dispense the night's mysteries. Strike while the iron is glowing red, since there is no time like the present. When you wake in the middle of the night with a brilliant idea, it's time to light your own torch and fly. Remember, you too are a celestial body. Align yourself with the moon and stars before you take off. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I feel this really strongly. Like, I don't know if the last time you sent out a round of applications, it just like wasn't the most astrologically fortuitous, or it's just like, again, like the timing wasn't right for you, for external circumstances, whatever it may be. The timing seems to be right. And the cards are saying, go, go, go. You know, like that opportunity, this reset might be out there right now. And don't wait. Send your applications, and send your applications to things you think, oh, like that might be a dream. That might be like beyond my reality. It's like, no, this is not a dream. Like, the time is now. Heed the signals that you are hearing. You know, if you're sensing like, I gotta go for this, then you're probably right. And there's a lot of momentum behind that now for you. So I would say go, 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 okay? Trust your gut, trust your instincts. I saw the Queen of Cups flash also when I was shuffling, and the Queen of Cups is all about like trusting your intuitive nudges, sort of, again, like the poem said, aligning yourself with the moon and stars, so that there's this like intuitive timing, this momentum that's building inside of you that says, now is the time I think I should go. And that's probably because things are aligning externally, maybe even like celestially. You know, it's like something in you picks up on that and says, okay, I think the time is right now. I think that I get a second chance on this now. And the cards seem to be reflecting that and saying, yes, emphatically go. Okay? Ooh, this is so, I mean, it's fortuitous. You have a full moon in your first house, in your house of like self and how you identify in the world. And like, there's this sudden like intuitive illumination of self with a full moon in your first house. Follow that. The moon, you know, the moon and the sun are exactly aligning opposite one another at the full moon. There is this celestial lineup that may be prompting you to go ahead and culminate this. Okay, really interesting. Ooh, good luck. Hope it helps. Okay, next.
Hi, Andy. I'm a Gemini sun, a Pisces moon, and a Virgo rising. My question is, almost exactly a year ago, I took kind of a big job after more than a decade of being self-employed. So it's been a real shift to kind of not be working for myself, though it's also been a really big opportunity. So I'm just wrapping up a year of this and kind of feeling like, so is this it? Like, is this what I do now? I kind of expected to feel a little more settled, and I guess I'm just wondering, like, I'm used to always having like that dream and that goal, and I find myself in a place where I don't really have it, even though things are good. And I'm wondering maybe how to find that again. Thanks.
I love this question for you, especially because like the timing of it, because you said you're Virgo rising, right? Which would put Sagittarius in your fourth house. And you said you expected to feel more settled. And to me, that's like fourth house, ding, ding, ding. When I want to feel settled, I look towards the fourth house. It's really the root of the chart. It is the place where we come from, and the place that maybe in some sense we return to. The place where we can kind of look to feel like we are home. And it sounds to me like you're looking to feel at home in your career, and maybe you don't, because again, with a Sagittarian, 4th house, Sagittarian is always finds home in the seeking, finds home in that sense of higher purpose or higher ideals or larger mission, and maybe feels most comfortable in the striving towards that ideal or the seeking rather than the finding. Okay. Let's see if we can get a word from the cards. What a shift after so many years of self-employment to now be working for someone else. It's really intense. Interesting. We have this coin being tossed in the air and it says, so be it. And it's an 11-cent piece. So there's something here about like, you know, when I think of so be it, I think of like this spell that you cast for yourself. You know, this thing that you say, you know what, I'm no longer gonna be self-employed and I'm gonna go get a job working for someone else, and so be it. You know, like this is the decision I am making. This is the path I am setting into motion. So be it. Okay, so it talks to me of like very much something you chose, very much something, yeah, like a spell you cast. This is a choice. Okay, fine. Let's get more details. Shapeshifter. It says shapeshifter, and there's the faces of the moon kind of changing. So yeah, again, like with the Sagittarian 4th house, you might actually feel more comfortable as someone that is like in the shifting process. You know what, it also might, yeah, because bottom of the deck, you are not alone in this uncertain place with like someone being beamed up into an alien spaceship, but they're neither on Earth nor are they in space, but they're just like in this in-between uncertainty. Maybe it's saying something about like you're still in the process of shifting, even though you've been at this new job for a year, which is a good amount of time under your belt. It is also not very much time at all, you know? So you might just still be shape-shifting out of, you know, having worked for yourself for, what did you say, like almost a decade or something, or more than a decade? Like that's a huge life change, identity shift. Maybe it's saying give it time. Maybe it's saying that like you set this intention into motion. You went and did it. You made this choice. Now like you have to kind of ride the uncertainty of it. Let's see what the Goblins and Gardens deck has to say about this. A lot is like flipping, flipping back, flipping, flipping back. Interesting. Jumpy, you know? Okay, 4 of Coins. Totally. I mean, like, 4 of Coins is absolutely 4th house energy. It is this card of like, it's a question of roots. It's a question of saving money. It's a question of like building up a savings, building up a sense of security and safety. So again, like, I don't know, the cards are sort of reinforcing that you cast a spell, maybe for more security, for more of a sense of like groundedness and rootedness. And you just need a little time to establish. On this particular 4 of Coins in the Goblins and Gardens deck, we're seeing asparagus, okay? And I work with asparagus in my garden. I just established roots last year. So we couldn't pick the asparagus for that whole first year. The asparagus shoots that came up, they were there and they were prolific, but they were skinny and spindly. They hadn't yet established a firm sense of roots and place and groundedness. So we knew better than to think we could enjoy it the first year. Even though it was tempting and even though we wanted it, we knew we're not harvesting asparagus this year. The harvest comes next year. you know, or maybe even the year after that. I think like technically we really should have waited another year, but this year we're on year 2 and they're coming up nice and thick, and they totally look like they're the right size to be harvested. So it's sort of telling me that you might not see the fruits or like be able to enjoy this choice that you made the first year because you're still in this transition period. Let's read about it. The keywords: gather, stability, self-analysis, and value. Asparagus towers loom over the Demogorgon's abyss. He's worked so hard to ensure things are stable that he's nearly forgotten his friends. But it's not too late. The demon prince has decided to share his success before the crop bolts inevitably. You've accumulated material stability, but troves become worthless when haunted. Share your hard work with your community. Everyone is invited to the Infernal Harvest Festival this year. Okay, so maybe we're being like keyed into something that might be missing, which is community or like celebration, you know? Okay, so you didn't get to harvest the first year, but you've been working very, very hard to set up the sense of stability for yourself. But have you lost community in that process? And can you get it back? Can you invite everyone to the garden this coming year for like, okay, I didn't really get to enjoy this the first year, but now I've got some stability that I didn't have before. How can you use that to build a stronger sense of community or sense of place, camaraderie? Like, is this talking about the people that you're working with? Are you in a workplace? Or is this talking about like a way to use the newfound sense of stability and resources that you might have to foster community elsewhere? Community and connection, they are all part of that 4th house sense of rootedness, because money is not the only thing that builds foundation, you know, like community and connection and feeling like you're part of this larger web of interconnected people who all like are working towards a sense of purpose. Like all of that is really integral to that, to the root of your life and to feeling rooted in your life. So, okay, maybe you've got some more financial stability with this job. Maybe part of rekindling that sense of purpose has to do with now starting to put some roots in community. Okay. He's been working so hard at finding stability that he forgot his friends. It's interesting. I hope that helps. Next.
Hi, Amanda. Thank you for this. Aries Sun, Gemini Rising, Leo Moon. And I've been getting an image lately regarding my business, my offerings, my services, my focus. This like phrase that I keep getting that says like turn around, turn back around, and I get an image of me like turning on my heels, turning like a full 180, walking backward just a bit, like a little ways, stopping, and then I like am handed something and I just like hold it up, take in like the power over it, integrate it within myself, and then I do my 180 on my heels and start walking forward again. And I think I have a sense, like some sense of what that's about, but I'd love to know what the cards might have to say. And I know it's super abstract and vague, but I also know you're really down with abstract and vague. So thanks for whatever comes through. I appreciate it a lot.
Okay. Let's see if we can get into this. What does this vision mean? Turn back around. Turn back around. Is there something in your previous life, like your previous career path, that you used to do, something you used to do, or something you used to be really good at, or something you learned how to do that you no longer do, that it's like you kind of need to go back and remember it, or go back and be like, and like reclaim that and be like, oh yeah, I used to do that. You know, like, oh my God, oh right, I remember, like that was a whole part of my life that I've like completely turned away from and abandoned. But it's almost like, no, wait, go back and get that, because you actually need to apply that to what you're doing now. That's just a sense. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, weird. I put these back in the deck and shuffled, but here we are. So be it. And you are not alone in this uncertain place. So we have the coin again, a choice you made, something that you put into motion, and then you are not alone in this uncertain place. So you're still shape-shifting. You're still adjusting to this maybe new career. Yes. We literally got the yes card. Okay. So you have like two cards that mean the same thing. So be it and yes, like yes, maybe it's just emphasizing that like we're on to something here. But there's something still really uncertain. You're still in, there's something still sort of transitional about the work that you're doing right now. Something transitional. You're helping people transition between this and this. So what did you used to do that you could apply to helping people transition? So that's like one half of this, but also the meaning of transition is like you are still transitioning into this new career from the old one. And so that's why like the door is still cracked open a little bit for you to turn around, walk back, get something from that old house, right, that you forgot about, and take back to this new place, this new direction that you're going in. Okay, one more card from Goblins and Gardens. Yeah, Queen of Swords. Some sort of like strong piece of information. Because we have this like fierce winged like demon goddess with like chicken feet. Coming in, you know, like coming in really hot with some kind of message. Okay, Queen of Swords, turned right to it. Let's read it. The key words are reclaim, okay? Reclaim, nest, truth, and precision. Adventurers burned the ferns where the harpies lived, forcing them into exile on cliff sides. Never once stopping their songs, the harpies' spirits proved as sharp as their voices. They played the part in order to survive. Now watch them thrive amongst the return of the ferns. You see the world for what it is. You cut to the heart of the matter. You're a truth sayer and a powerful singer. Trust your wit to shine when the lights go out, back and forth and round and up, avoiding the loops of the mind. Okay, so there's something about maybe like your messaging that is asking for specificity. And there is like a theme of adaptability here, because in that story we just read, there's this idea of like, okay, the whatever it was, the adventurers came in and burned the ferns where the harpies lived. And so the harpies, I guess that's this demon here, the harpy, had to go, they were forced into exile into the cliff sides. But the ferns grow back and they get to go back and reclaim that space that they once, a space where they once lived. Something you once did, something that once felt like home to you. You get to go back now and reclaim that. because it's actually a very crucial part of your specific perspective in the work that you are doing. So it's not that you have to totally do a 180 and go back to that work altogether and abandon the direction you've been going in, but it is that you have to go back to realize that what you were doing before has a lot of power towards what you're doing now. And what it is, the power piece you need to pick up maybe has to do with your specific voice, you know, because it's like, okay, whatever industry you're in, it's like, okay, maybe there's a lot of voices in this area and they're all kind of saying the same thing. But what do you know that they don't know? You know, like what life have you lived previously, maybe in your work, that you get to bring to the work you're doing now that will like really just like hone in what it is you're actually doing and offering, and like what song you're really singing. So we're definitely talking about like messaging here, maybe. You cut to the heart of the matter. It's also something with this about like part of your power is in like cutting all the blah, 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 back and forth and round and up, avoiding the loops of the mind. And like honing in on there's a very specific like message, and it's almost like you just need to say it directly and say it over and over and over again, not say it all these other different ways. You know, it's like there's something here about like with the Queen of Swords not being, I don't need to be creative. I need to be direct. I don't need to say it like differently to keep it interesting. I need to say it directly to get my point across, so that there's no question as to what I'm saying and who I'm saying it to and why I'm saying it. Okay, so specificity, 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 which may be coming back a little bit to this, you are not alone in this uncertain place. Maybe there's a bit of like uncertainty with your messaging or with the work that you're doing now that is like, you know, not totally clear what you're doing. And there's a lot of clarity in yes, and so be it. Like a lot of clarity in just like, this is what it is. Very direct, very plain, very decisive. And again, there's something about like going back to what you used to do, or going back to some sort of, that's going to help you remember, oh, right, that's what it is. And then take it back and apply it into what you're doing with this direction you've been walking on. Wow. Okay, I hope that helps. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, last one.
Hi, I recently spoke my truth to someone who I'd had some difficulties in relationship with, and who had just sort of gone no contact. And I just want to inquire about what the cards have to say about speaking that truth to them, and because right now I'm feeling like I was too much, you know, and it seems like direct communication sometimes is seen as aggressive or something. And I was very kind, so it's not like I was aggressive. Thanks for doing this.
No problem. Okay, so we've already got two cards coming out. We have this card again. My God. You are not alone in this uncertain space, with the person being beamed up from Earth into the spaceship. And then we have spirit split. We have a sign. One word says spirit, pointing one way. The other says split, pointing the other way. And we got that full moon out. So yeah, I mean, like, this is just reflecting exactly where you are. You've just spoken your truth to somebody. Super Sagittarian theme there. Just like this is my truth and I'm going to say it. And now maybe your spirit is feeling a little split. Like, was I too aggressive, or was that too direct, or was that the right thing for me to do? And so here you are in the uncertainty of like waiting for how that's going to hit, where how that the other person is going to respond, or how that's really going to sit with them. Something tells me that this just like, you kind of have to just be patient. And you know, Sagittarius, the full moon it's like a culmination. Something had to come to a head. Something had to come out. And like, depending on where Sagittarius is in your birth chart, it might make sense that it resulted in you speaking your truth in a very direct way. And so now it's kind of like you have to be in the uncertainty of the fallout of that, you know, of like what happens now. Let's see if the Goblins and Gardens deck has anything to say about speaking your truth like this. Okay, interesting. 3 of Coins. So we have these like elves all working together to harvest. And it's typically a card that talks about teamwork. Teamwork. Let's read about it. Okay, 3 of Coins. The key words are skill share, fruition, teamwork, and salvage. In peace, gardens grew abundant, and the leprechauns took notice. Sneaking into abandoned estates to gather tomatoes is no solitary venture. Collaboration is magic. These tiny fae know that coming home with fat nightshades will provide for the whole community. No project is too plump when you're with friends. Let your weaknesses be footholds for your comrades to boost themselves so that they may lift you up after. Reach out to those who've done this before. Teamwork makes a dream work. Interesting. Okay, so it sounds like whatever this was, you know, like I obviously don't know the circumstances of you speaking your truth. But I would say the cards are emphasizing that it makes sense for you to be feeling uncertain in the aftermath of that. That's all that they're really emphasizing there. I feel like I want to get one more. You got the absolutely not card, and it's like all roads lead to a sign that says no, absolutely not, absolutely not, absolutely not. And so maybe that was you being super direct and like asserting your boundaries, and the cards are just again reflecting that you did that. You were very direct with your speech, absolutely not, or whatever it was. But the card at the center of this is a card about teamwork. And it's reminding you that your direct communication, if it's in service of the larger team or the greater community, or like if speaking directly and sharing boundaries maybe, or just like saying something really clearly with kindness but clear, will actually help everybody work better as a team, then that's the way to go. You know, then sometimes you need to say what needs to be said in order to eliminate uncertainty. Because that's the beauty of direct speech. It illuminates the sense of this or that, or I don't know, or is it, or, right? You have this absolutely not that's just like, it's this. Interesting how the last reading sort of bled into this one. But it's all serving the greater team. It's all serving your ability to work better with others. And so I would say, like, let the fallout happen, you know, like let the dust settle on whatever it was that you said, and then maybe reach back out, check back in. Hey, listen, you know, like, how did that sit with you? I would love to continue this conversation. I want this to be a conversation. I want it to be a collaboration. You know, like, would you like to respond? Do you have anything you want to share with me? Now that I've spoken really directly how I'm feeling, or spoken my truth. You know, again, like, just direct speech is really, really necessary to clear up uncertainty. And then like, how do we bring it collaborative? How do we bring it back around so that there's still like a connective aspect? So yeah, maybe that's the thing to do after the dust settles a little bit, if you're not hearing back from this person, or if it feels like the point didn't land well with them or didn't yet land with them. Take a collaborative approach. Reach out. Hey, can we make this a conversation? See what happens. You know, like, okay, how can we work together on this? Because I want to work with you. I want this to work. 3 of Pentacles. I want us to enjoy this together. Okay. Okay, I hope that helps, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the Get Read podcast. If you'd like to get read, probably on the next full moon, I always announce it on Instagram. So follow me at unseenhandstarot there on Instagram, and you'll get the heads up when I am taking questions for the cards for the next podcast episode. In the meantime, the summer solstice is imminent, and the summer shift readings for each sign will drop around the solstice. So keep an eye out on that. Again, Instagram is the place. If you'd like to work with me personally, one-on-one, I do personal readings over the long term. So I have an opportunity for you to work with me for an entire year of your life, going through and checking in occasionally. It's called the Full Circle. It's a great thing to do around your birthday. So if you're having a birthday, or someone you know is having a birthday, you might want that full circle reading. So you can go to unseenhandstarot.com to read all about that. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.